A portico is a porch leading to the entrance of a building, or extended as a colonnade, with a roof structure over a walkway, supported by columns or enclosed by walls. The idea was widely used in ancient Greece and has influenced many cultures, including most Western cultures. Some noteworthy examples of porticos are the East Portico of the United States Capitol, the portico adorning the Pantheon in Rome, and the portico of University College London. Porticos are sometimes topped with pediments. Bologna, Italy, is famous for its porticos. In total, there are over 45 kilometers of arcades, some 38 in the city center. The longest portico in the world, about 3.5 kilometers, extends from the edge of the city to Sanctuary of the Madonna di San Luca. In Turin, Italy, porticos stretch for 18 kilometers. Palladio was a pioneer of using temple fronts for secular buildings. In the UK, the temple front applied to the Vine, Hampshire, was the first portico applied to an English country house. Pronaos. A pronaos is the inner area of the portico of a Greek or Roman temple, situated between the portico's colonnade or walls and the entrance to the cella, or shrine. Roman temples commonly had an open pronaos, usually with only columns and no walls, and the pronaos could be as long as the cella. The word pronaos is Greek for before a temple. In Latin, a pronaos is also referred to as an anticum or prodomus. Types. The different variants of porticos are named by the number of columns they have. The style suffix comes from the Greek sigma tau lambda omicron sigma, column. Tetrastyle. The tetrastyle has 4 columns. It was commonly employed by the Greeks and the Etruscans for small structures such as public buildings, and amphiprostyles. The Romans favored the 4-columned portico for their pseudo-peripteral temples like the Temple of Portunus, and for amphiprostyle temples such as the Temple of Venus in Roma, and for the prostyle entrance porticos of large public buildings like the Basilica of Maxentius and Constantine. Roman provincial capitals also manifested tetrastyle construction, such as the Capitoline Temple in Volubilis. The North Portico of the White House is perhaps the most notable 4-columned portico in the United States. Hexastyle buildings had 6 columns and were the standard facade in canonical Greek Doric architecture between the Archaic period, 600–550 BC, up to the age of Pericles, 450–430 BC. Greek hexastyle. Some well-known examples of classical Doric hexastyle Greek temples. The group at Paestum, comprising the Temple of Hera, the Temple of Apollo, the first Temple of Athena and the second Temple of Hera. The Temple of Athena Aphaea at Aegina c. 495 BC. Temple E at Selinus dedicated to Hera. The Temple of Zeus at Olympia, now a ruin. Temple F, or the so-called Temple of Concord, at Agrigentum, one of the best preserved classical Greek temples, retaining almost all of its peristyle and entablature. The unfinished temple at Sigistar, the Hephaestion below the Acropolis at Athens, long known as the Theseum, also one of the most intact Greek temples surviving from antiquity. The Temple of Poseidon on Cape Sunium. Hexastyle was also applied to Ionic temples, such as the prostyle porch of the Sanctuary of Athena on the Erechtheum, at the Acropolis of Athens. Roman hexastyle. With the colonization by the Greeks of southern Italy, hexastyle was adopted by the Etruscans and subsequently acquired by the ancient Romans. Roman taste favored narrow pseudo-peripteral and amphiprostyle buildings with tall columns, raised on podiums for the added pomp and grandeur conferred by considerable height. The Maison Carrée at Nîmes, France, is the best preserved Roman hexastyle temple surviving from antiquity. Octastyle buildings had 8 columns. They were considerably rarer than the hexastyle ones in the classical Greek architectural canon. The best-known octastyle buildings surviving from antiquity are the Parthenon in Athens, built during the age of Pericles, and the Pantheon in Rome. The destroyed Temple of Divus Augustus in Rome, the center of the Augustan cult. is shown on Roman coins of the 2nd century AD as having been built in octostyle. Decastyle. The decastyle has 10 columns, as in the Temple of Apollo Didymaeus at Miletus, and the Portico of University College London.